Long before Olivia Mercer ever set foot in Dunbridge, the town's name stirred something in her. Tucked away in the Appalachian foothills, the place had always been a quiet dot on the map, but it pulsed with whispers. Locals told tales of strange symbols etched into the courthouse foundation, of masked figures glimpsed by moonlight in the cemetery, and of an entire wing of the old library, sealed off since the 1920s. Olivia wasn't just passing through. As an investigative historian and podcaster with a growing following, she had made a name for herself, digging into the buried roots of America's local legends. She had traced the Illuminati's alleged influence on university architecture, tracked Freemason symbols in Civil War battlefields, and now she'd been lured to Dunbridge by an anonymous tip. If you want truth, find the Watchers. They're older than the Masons, more secretive than the Illuminati. They never left. The letter had included a photocopy of an aged map, part of Dunbridge's early town layout, with a strange eye-like emblem circled beneath the current city hall. Olivia wasn't one for ghost stories, but the map bore the watermark of a 1781 land survey, genuine enough to pique her curiosity. Her first stop was the Dunbridge Historical Society, run by a sprightly man named Edgar Timms, whose family had been in Dunbridge since its founding. He welcomed her in but turned pale when she mentioned the Watchers. "Old stories," Edgar said, adjusting his thick-rimmed glasses. "Things best left forgotten. My grandfather said they met beneath the town, under the catacombs of the original meeting house. They called it the Hall of the Veil." "But it's just a story, right?" Olivia pressed. Edgar hesitated. "Maybe, but after that fire in 1904, half the town square gone overnight. People stopped asking questions. A few who looked too close vanished. Others left quietly. The rest of us learned to stop prying." But Olivia never stopped. That night, flashlight in hand, she followed the map's old coordinates to a manhole cover behind the library's annex. Rusted shut for decades, it took her nearly an hour to pry it open. Below was a ladder and the smell of damp stone. She descended. The chamber beneath was massive, walls carved with Latin phrases and symbols she'd seen in Freemason lodges, but also others she didn't recognize. A three-pointed star inside a circle, always flanked by a crescent moon. Along one corridor she found a mosaic, a cloaked figure holding a lantern in one hand and a chain in the other, standing before what looked like the town of Dunbridge. Below the words, "No videre, no servare," we watch, we preserve. Olivia recorded every detail, her breath misting in the cold underground air. As she turned to leave, a low creak echoed through the stone. She wasn't alone. A hooded figure stepped into the beam of her flashlight. Not a ghost, not an illusion, real, breathing. "You shouldn't be here," the figure said in a gravelly voice. "I'm here to learn the truth," Olivia said, steeling herself. There was a pause, then the figure beckoned. "Then come. But you must understand, we don't guard power. We guard memory." She followed him deeper underground, past what appeared to be old archives, ledgers, artifacts, and forgotten town records. The figure explained that the Watchers were formed in the late 1700s, a local offshoot of Enlightenment thinkers and defected Freemasons. Their mission was to safeguard knowledge too volatile or dangerous for the public, ranging from suppressed technologies to scandals that could collapse governments. "We've kept Dunbridge safe," he said, "by absorbing the town's sins. When something had to be erased, we did it. When a truth could destroy families or undo peace, we stored it here." Olivia asked if they still operated. Always, but differently now, in shadows, in silence. Fewer of us, but still present. He led her back to the ladder. "You may tell your story, but leave out this place. The world needs mystery. It protects more than it harms." Back in her motel room, Olivia pored over her notes, conflicted. She had audio, photographs, evidence of a secret society lost to time, still alive. Yet she remembered the eyes of the Watcher and the weight of those archives. In the end, Her podcast episode aired as a legend. She described the Hall of the Veil, the symbols and the myths around the Watchers. But she left out the real entrance, the man beneath, and the trove of history they kept. Her listeners were hooked. Dunbridge's mystery grew. Tourists came. But no one ever found what she had. And Olivia kept the map, just in case. Because some truths, she realized, belong in the shadows.